Hi there, I'm Sifu Slim, and I am the author of The Aging Athlete. The Aging Athlete, subtitled, Elite Athletes Reveal Their Secrets for Life. Inspirational interviews with some of the fittest survivors of elite athleticism. Check it out, and I hope you enjoy it. On the cover is Randy Beisler in his senior year in high school in Gary, Indiana, and at age 66, 250 pounds, still fit at 66, now in his 70s, still maintaining his physicality. Very rare for big people, especially former offense and defensive linemen, to be maintaining their physicality. So, I am Sifu Slim, and I am coming to you live from Needles, California, which is a town back in time. So that's what I do. I look for lots of the answers in the history, because you can look at the progression, and the progression is very helpful. So I've had the good fortune for this book project and my research project to have interviewed 770 high-performance athletes. High school, college pro, former high school, college pro, ex-military, current military, Broadway dancers. You throw industrial athletes in there like contractors and landscapers, roofers, tile people, plumbers, electricians, all of the high-performance physical people. And then you ask them, before they got there, during their time in that zone of high-performance physicality, and then afterwards, no matter the age, the unfortunate research that I found, and you can read the stories of the less than 10% here, so now you know the answer. Less than 10% of people are maintaining wellness through physical activity after they retire from their high performance years. Less than 10%. So I took 770 people. I asked each group, each person, about the group that they were with, times 10 people. So they go through the list. You know, I remember this guy, I remember that gal, and then they go through the people they still stay in contact with, and then we go through that, and it's amazing. It's been less than 10% in almost all the cases. So that's 7,700 people in my anecdotal / or hyphen scientific study. So if I have a little budget, I will do an official scientific study with the Research Institute, and we will get it all on spreadsheets and show you what the results are. But that's my memory of all of these athletes, and I've got many on videotape and Google Hangouts interviews, and that's how I was able to write this book. So I am here, and one thing I wanted to share about elite athleticism, so you're still in the zone. So there was a big fight with Holm recently, and she fought Cris Cyborg. Now they're working their tails off, training with the advanced methods, getting to the highest peak performance they can, which is where the higher you go in performance, the higher the risk for injury. And so I would doubt that either one of them was 100%. I interviewed in this book Ken Shamrock. There's Ken Shamrock at about age 19 or 20 with his adopted father, Mr. Shamrock, Bob Shamrock. And I asked Ken, who's been in many MMA fights and more street fights than anyone I've ever met, how many times in his professional career of shoot fighting and MMA, etc., was he 100%? And guess what the answer was? I'm going to hold my hand. It's 0. And that's the thing. When you're training 5 hours, 7 hours a day, 6 days a week, and you're really going for the gold, you're going to suffer an injury, and that's just the way it is. So blessings to you, high performance people. I honor what you do, but I want to make a little observation here about Holm and Cris Cyborg. Now, Holly has lost her last 3 fights. She's been a little bit down about that. Is that a bad thing? Well, in tennis, pro tennis, they have different levels. They have the people who play the top grand slams. Then they have different levels, and you can go down to your international pro circuit. You can go to lower level international pro circuit. You can go to national pro circuit. You can go to regional pro circuit, local pro circuit. There are many different levels where you can earn a living. So what I'm going to suggest is that people like Holly Holm, who've lost 3 in a row, don't look into the top people right now like Cris Cyborg. There are 100 MMA fighters out there. There may be 500 women who are in there, and maybe there are 20 or 40 who are in your level of competency, your competition bracket. So if you've lost 3 in a row, why would you go out and fight the top fighter? That doesn't make any sense. And Mike Tyson, wouldn't do that. He was smart enough to know. He said, I can't do this anymore. In one of his last fights, it might have been his last fight, he said, I'm not into this anymore. He knew that he was getting hit, and his timing was off. It's just the way it goes. Holly could come back and get back to being in the top 3 or 5 people, which she probably still is now, but that doesn't mean you can go out and fight Cris Cyborg, who's currently in the top of her zone. So if you're losing 3 in a row, this is what I would say: go to a different level, fight different level people, and have good fights where you're getting tagged less and the competition's more even, and hopefully you will win 1, and maybe you'll win 3 in a row, and then you can see how you're doing. And you and your coach know, they know how your level is, and then you also know from the camp of the other top fighters how they are doing. Like when Ali fought Larry Holmes was in the top. He was unbeatable. There was no way Ali with training was going to do anything with him. And then he was taking liver enzymes and diuretics, and he was a mess. He was popping all these pills, and he was old school in 1980, and he thought that this was a vitamin type thing. But he didn't know. And he was a mess when he went in there, and he got hit for, I think, 10 rounds. The fight lasted. I mean, that's stupid. They should have stopped the fight in the first minute because he had no way of fighting him. So not that Holly Holm was in that zone, but what I would say is there are different levels, and tennis is a good sport to pull from because people in these various levels are making money. Some might be a club pro who's in the top 3,000 in the world or top 10,000 in the world, which is not bad. I mean, top 10,000 in the world, that's pretty impressive. So I would suggest looking into something in your zone. If you're in the top 10, look at other people in the top 10 and fight in tournaments where they showcase you. And maybe you're on the undercard for the Cris Cyborg fight, or you're in your own thing that is marketed on the pay-per-view channel. So that is a lesson that tennis learned 60 years ago, maybe more than that. Tennis has been around a long time. They had tournaments in 1905, 1920. It was an elite sport, and then pros got into it, and they weren't allowed to compete in the same tournaments, that kind of thing. Golf did the same thing. Now, golf and tennis, there are a lot of people who make money in those sports. So, I mean, nothing wrong with making $100,000 a year. I met the tennis player who's top 160 in the world from Greece, and he had told me that he was in that zone of grossing maybe $150,000 a year in 2017. That's not bad. Now, if you're in that zone and you're training, you want to make money, that would give you enough money to travel and pay your coaching. So that's something, and it's better than losing 3 fights in a row. So look into that. I'm Sifu Slim, wishing you all the best, and take a look at theagingathlete.com. and Amazon. Go to Sifu, S-I-F-U Slim, and you can take a look at my book, Sedentary Nation, and The Aging Athlete, and you'll see what I'm up to. And I hope it resonates with you, and I'm always welcome to hear your respectful and well-founded comments. And do some spell checking before you leave comments on YouTube. Come on, you younger generation people, do some spell checking. It's kind of cool to get your spelling right? Makes you look good. So anyway, I'm Sifu Slim, and I'm wishing you all the best, and I am open for coaching, speaking engagements, and I will come connect with you in person or through the internet or the phone. And all the best. So Holly, wishing you all the best too. Have enjoyed your career. Good luck, Cris Cyborg. Good luck to all you MMA and you athletes, amateur, pro, and elite athletes. Good luck. Sifu Slim, over and out. Aloha.